All right, your closing speaker for the 2024 Midwest Coaches Conference is Bridgette Simmonds from Tampa, Florida. Bridgette, how are you?
I am fantastic, Jonathan. How are you today?
Excellent. I can't wait to dive into this. So let's just jump right in. Give me the, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minute version of how you ended up coaching and ultimately how you're ending up here speaking to us in the Midwest Coaches Conference.
Ooh, oh my goodness. So how I ended up coaching, I always like to say I've unofficially been a coach my entire life. I think all of us coaches have that same thing in common. And I just felt that discomfort, dissatisfaction with checking the boxes of typical adulthood and getting a degree in business and getting a job and getting a cubicle and a company car and a home with a picket fence and still feeling like this can't be life. There has to be more to life than this. And in answering that question, I discovered that I love talking to people and love seeing the goodness in people. And initially went, fun fact, back to school because I was still following that model that one must get a degree to then get a job to get paid to do what you like to do. I initially went back to school to get my master's degree in psychotherapy, which I did complete. But in the midst of that program, felt like something was missing from that end of the helping profession spectrum. Whereas therapy meets a person or a group with a level of breakdown. And whilst I have immense respect for that, it didn't align completely with the being that I am, which is the end of the spectrum coaching meets humans, which is life's good. How can it be great? And so I went on a search and feeling not quite aligned with the therapy schooling track and found coaching. Signed up for training to get certified, and within minutes to hours of that first day, I thought the heavens opened, the light shined on me in my seat and was like, "You have arrived." And I felt so complete with my people, with my passion, and that's how I got into the space of being certified as a coach. And then started to create and build my business alongside my corporate job. I called myself a parallelpreneur until I could get on the off ramp to leave and do it full time in 2016. So, and then here to be the speaker at the conference. Oh my gosh. So, what's fascinating is this, and I'm sure as coaches will find this pretty interesting. I declared and put in my vision for this year to actually in 2023 to speak more, to get on more stages, to apply to speak. And so putting that intention into the universe worked because I did my part in terms of applying to speak in certain places.
So that's an interesting lesson, I think, for coaches is the power of just putting things into words. Now,
Yes.
I know we can go into the brain science, all of it, but that's not really why we're here. What is it about that thing when, as a coach, we either put something out there ourselves or we help our clients express something that all of a sudden things are different? What do you think's going on there?
Oh, I mean, we like you said, we could get into the brain science, we can get into the spiritual nature of it in terms of even just speaking a thing and then it's created. I always use the metaphor because I love food of the world being a restaurant of our desires, our most wondrous desires that we get to enjoy. And a lot of times we don't get what we want because we don't place an order. And I believe speaking things into existence and speaking things out loud places the order into the royal kitchen of this lifetime. And even more if you place the order in writing or it being witnessed by another human being, that takes it up a notch. It's like a server at your table with a tablet and a pen, like, what would you like? And most people get caught in an I don't know spiral. I call it the curse of I don't know. And if you don't know, then nothing can really be delivered to you. I just feel like there's the power in words. And that's also powerful in the words of when we're working with our clients and clients, sometimes for the first time out loud to anyone share what they would like to do and have. It at once elevates the power of the desire and also shrinks the power of the fear and the lack that we may feel in the not professing of the thing that we desire.
The thing that strikes me as I listen to you is how often do we let somebody else order for us at
Mm.
the restaurant as compared to ordering our own self?
Woo! That's a whole word, Jonathan. And I actually lived in someone else's order. in my life for a very long time. Even me being in corporate, all of us tend to. I mean, it's just the nature of life. I think unless you have the type of evolved caretakers that I always said, and I don't have any human children, I have a fur child, but I always have said that if I could imagine the most perfect kind of parenting possible, it is birthing this human and then standing back to see what it is asking of life and what it desires, and then throwing fuel and resources and bolstering that thing versus, I've got this thing that I have charge over and I get to program it with my desires and my needs. And then thus the someone ordering for you happens, which is how we're all choking on careers that we didn't order, choking in relationships and marriages that we really didn't want, but we thought we were supposed to be married by a certain time. So I love that addition to that analogy because who's ordering for you? Who's
Yeah.
ordering the things in life that you're getting served up?
Yeah. Now, your presentation in Cincinnati is unlocking your potential through boldness. Boldness runs through your work.
Yes, it
Let's
does.
start with a core definition. When I say I want to be more bold, what does that mean in Bridgette world?
Simply put, I want to be more of my truthful, authentic self. That's it. Boldness is it's fascinating to me how we like I'm thinking like right now when we're talking, the Olympics is currently happening. And the best at their sport are competing. And there's a sense of boldness that we love to watch with that level of passion, of athleticism, or even people that are orators or musical artists. We behold that. We peer upon a stage of somebody operating on this level of passion and greatness, which is essentially themselves and the power that runs through all of us operating at its highest level, for which we all have access to that same divine power from source. But the majority of people are either cut off from that power, are unaware of that power, or are afraid of that power, or maybe they tried to wield it at some point in their life and they were stopped, halted, discouraged because of someone else's fear of that power. And really, it's reverence of that power. And so when it comes to boldness, it's ironically the simplest place, but the hardest place because we fear judgment. If I show you my authentic self, if I share with you what I truly feel in this moment, will you reject me? Will I not be loved and accepted by you? And so, therefore, I'm clamping myself down and I'm playing in a smaller game in order to maintain my sense of community and connection, which might not even be the highest and best community and connection. So, boldness, simply put, is the ability to be oneself in any given moment that you are showing up.
So, give us a quick sneak preview. How can coaches embrace more boldness in their work?
Ah, the first step I would say, because this has been my work as well, I'm not on the boldness spectrum, if there was such a thing, not completely on the ends of I've got it down. I still want people to like me. I'm the queen of the get along gang. And having strong opinions and standing in those is a place of being bold. Like being willing to have someone say, I don't agree with you, is a powerful place to be. So, the first step, especially if boldness isn't something that's readily practiced, is to start small and start with a trusted relationship to share the truth. There's the truth about what you're feeling, and it could be as simple as getting an invitation to some place and you really don't want to go, just saying no without an explanation, but actually honoring your no and being truthful with your no is the simplest way to be bold, I would say. And I'd say a secondary way, let's call that level A boldness. If you want to, you're like, oh, I do that already, Bridget, but you want to really graduate to level B boldness, then the space would be Brene Brown's work is vulnerability.
Mm.
Is sharing something that would might make your voice quake, your armpits sweaty, that might make you want to run away after you say it and hide. You're sharing some part of you that's exposed to truly expose something that you really would rather keep hidden. That's next level boldness that creates a sense of freedom and connectivity and relationship that's on another level and freedom, really.
So where does kindness play into all being bold?
Oh, I like that question. Kindness plays into it with regard to, I'd say, intention. I saw a post yesterday. I'm probably going to butcher the quote, but it said something around I'm not a nice person, but I'm a kind person. And I
Mm,
and that's and I feel like that, and I like I said, I'm probably butchering the quote, but essentially what I gathered from that is there's a space where we tamp ourselves and our truth down and turn the boldness dial down because I want to be nice. And nice might mean it's more so pleasing to another person, that I'm
mm,
gonna soften this truth that I have in this moment because I think it might ruffle your feathers. I think it might cause you to recoil from me. There's a way to assert yourself and to be bold, to be truthful, to be authentic, and be kind and loving. I can say to you, Jonathan, no. Or I can say, no, not kind, kind, and truthful.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the intention, and I also feel like it's the vibration that comes along with it.
What will coaches take away from hearing you in Cincinnati on this topic or on a related boldness topic?
Ah, I feel like with the entire conference, I'm just a beautiful, happy piece and part of the entire symphony. What I know that the coaches will take away is an elevated sense of purpose. They'll feel a sense of momentum and leave with not only the buzz that tends to happen at conferences, because there's a sense of that togetherness and common thread that we all share. But for what I definitely intend to infuse, and I'm sure a lot of the other speakers are too, is actionable, bold items. And if I have anything to do with it, you will leave saying, not only did I learn about boldness, but I embodied boldness. And I feel so good that I'm in this space.
Awesome. So what would it look like for a coach seeing this video before the conference to do a check-in with themselves on their current level of boldness in preparation for your time with us?
Ooh, so let's do
Yep.
an assessment. So let's think about a bold scale. And one way that we can assess a before and an after. So one of my favorite quotes is fortune favors the bold. So
Mm,
I would ask you to assess on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being completely satisfied, how satisfied with are you with regard to your level of fortune? And you get to define what fortune means.
mm,
If you're a 1, we've got space to improve because that tells me that your level of boldness might be able to have some opportunities to elevate. Another pre-assessment is just self-assessment. How bold do I feel on a regular basis? 1 being not so bold, 5 being I'm bold every single day. And I'd say a third assessment is if I were more bold in my everyday as a coach, what would be different for me? And
mm.
just take that in and then take that assessment after the conference as well with those 3 questions.
Love it. Can I throw out one?
Please.
If I were more bold, what would be different for my clients?
Ooh, yes.
Between us, we've got 4 questions. All right, coaches, I'm looking you in the camera now. Take the assessment. Don't come to Cincinnati without having completed the pre-assessment that we just designed.
That's right.
Challenge extended.
Did you take the assessment?
I will ask about the pre-assessment before introducing you
Okay,
in front
great.
of the conference.
I can't wait to see
To,
some of the faces of the good students who don't like to miss an assignment.
well, well,
The looks of each other. Did you get it? Did you see it?
yeah, there will definitely be a selfie level moment there to take in front of the crowd. I may even separate the room. Did you take the pre-assessment? You sit on this side. Did you not take the pre-assessment? You sit on that side.
I love it. And you know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna even throw an extra challenge into the gauntlet.
love it.
If whoever is the first person to come to me personally at the conference and tell me, Bridget, I took the assessment, I will give you an Amazon gift card.
Wow.
Yep. So
Wow.
you got to be paying attention to this interview, all of that. So if you like Amazon the way that a lot of us do, come up to me, be the first one, and then we'll shout them out too right
Right
before my
on.
talk. Yeah,
You
that'll
know
be
what,
fun.
Bridget? I'm going to join you on that. Come to
Okay.
me,
Oh,
same challenge. I'll do it as well.
look at this. Amazing. I
Love it.
can't wait to see who comes up to us.
This will be great.
Fun.
So how'd you get into working with boldness in your coaching?
It's my name starts with B and the B is for boldness. It's a part of my being really is boldness because I used to truthfully get in trouble for my boldness as a kid for my
Mm,
Caribbean parents who very much have a high value of respect and reverence. And I was the truth teller. I'm the middle child, you know, and I often would just say what I felt and I would get in trouble for that. Bridget, you just can't say everything that comes to your mind. Well, I can, but in the realm of their parenting, they didn't like it too much. But that has always just been me. And that there's just that saying, fortune favors the bold is I'm driven by that. And not only ways of coaching, but in the way I live my life, I feel as though there's such excitement when you're first into something or when you notice something that other people don't. So I grew up in Orlando, Florida, the home of Disney World and Mickey Mouse. So we often went to Disney World as a family. And my dad actually influenced a lot of my boldness in this way. When at 9 p.m., they would show beautiful fireworks, 90% of the people at the park would stop what they were doing and gaze in the sky, oohing and awing at these fireworks. My dad would say, "Kids, let's go." And we would take full advantage of no lines for the rides. And we would ride rides over and over again. And that level of going against the grain of the crowd and the majority, paying attention to opportunities when they're open and available because the majority is doing a thing or believing a thing. I mean, even in the space of the time and world we're living in, with a lot of talk of the pandemic, or not the pandemic, but the economy and recession, if the majority of people are riding that wave and believing the sky is falling and they're clamoring and looking up at the sky of doom, those of us who are down here not looking at the sky of doom are so living a different reality. And that's boldness. And so to me, what I love more than ever is watching my clients go from, I'm not sure, to issuing a challenge. And I love to do it on the spot in my coaching. Like, are you open to a challenge? And my clients at this point know me so well, they're like, oh gosh. But they always say yes because humans love to be challenged. We're that way from the time we're children. In fact, children challenge their parents because they want that sense of tension to be able to rise to the occasion or just to see what's possible in the moment. And so boldness became the way that I love to watch people see for themselves that success, like my mentor used to always say, success does not take time, it takes courage. And we can collapse the time between I wish I had, I want to be, between the time we take being afraid or scared or unsure or overthinking or over planning to just getting into bold action. It can happen faster than you think it can oftentimes. And so that's an element of my coaching I will never not have, is the challenge, which is like a truth or dare.
mm.
Are you going to dare to do this right here in this moment? And that look upon a client's face of joy, like when kids can do something that they couldn't or that they struggled to do, and they're like, I did it, is one of the most rewarding experiences between me and the client we can ever have. Is how bold do you want to be right now? How much do you want to lean into that boldness and that sense of pride in knowing that you did it, even if it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to? The fulfillment it feels like when you leaned into and overcame a sense of, I'm not sure if I can do this.
Now you make a great case here, but is boldness a choice?
Yeah, it absolutely is. What else would boldness be?
Well, here's what prompted that question.
Okay.
In some ways, my mind goes to you're either wired to be bold or you're not.
Mm.
So yeah, let's push on that question rather. You know, is this a question of deep level wiring? Is this a behavioral choice? Where does this come from?
This is the nature versus nurture. I
Could be,
believe I,
could
what
be.
here's what's coming to me in this moment, because I love this question. It's almost like the question, are leaders born or made? And
Mm,
what I believe about that is there are certain humans that have a natural proclivity to boldness and leadership for the sake of assisting others to level that up within themselves. So when you see, I love studying and watching children because there are just certain elements that kids have. And it goes back to that the theory of parenting that I have of give birth to this human, watch and see what it came with because we
mm,
come. And so there are certain kids that you just are inherently shy and timid.
mhm.
And there are some kids that are like, move, those are my Legos, and no one really taught them that. Like, I have a nephew, Nicholas, who I'm just like, where did you come from? Like he declared he's a big boy now and he's not even 4 yet. These pandemic babies are a whole nother breed. So we can't treat him like a baby anymore. So he has this leadership quality to him. But I believe that that exists in maybe a higher form than other people so that it can enhance and edify and elevate that same leader that exists in every single one of us. And it appears and it looks different. My boldness doesn't look like your boldness.
Mm.
Someone could be very meek and quiet in comparison to me and my loud, boisterous nature. But their presence and or their way of writing, maybe they write versus speaking verbally is just so moving and so bold that they didn't have to say a word out loud. So that I do feel like yes, and
Yeah.
boldness is inherent in some so that it can elevate it in others.
I, I also think I heard you say that there are seeds of boldness in just about all of us,
Yes.
but how it sprouts could be really, really different.
Yes.
There's a very tortured agricultural metaphor from a guy who's lived in the city his entire life.
But
So
you did
th-
great. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I love it. I love that. That's really good. What do you wish someone had helped you understand sooner?
Mm. That I could be bolder sooner. I really wish that I can't and wouldn't take back my journey because it allows me to connect with the people I'm supposed to connect with. Because if I knew it sooner, they wouldn't relate to me. I would have been on this track. I would have been a coach and completely skipped my 15 years in corporate. I would have completely skipped following someone else's path and definition of success. So I'm grateful for my journey and the fact that it allows me to relate to those that are assigned to me in my leadership. But I wish I knew sooner how great and amazing the payoff is for being bold and how much it allows me to honor and live into one of my highest values, which is freedom. Because there's no greater freedom than the unapologetic freedom of being completely yourself. And yes, that may mean you'll get criticized. Yes, it might mean that you might have people coming against you. Yes, it might mean a whole bunch of things that the ego doesn't like and that make me emotional. But the freedom to say, that's how I feel. That's what I think. That's what I believe is one of the most greatest freedoms that I feel like any one of us can lean into, even just a little bit more.
Coming soon to a stage near you, the closing speaker for the 2024 Midwest Coaches Conference. Bridgette Simmonds, what a
What a
delight.
beautiful conversation, Jonathan. Thank you so much.